All right, we're live. We're going to go ahead. It's going to be a short one because we've got no chapter. So this is just going to be episode 143. That's what we're going to cover. And we're going to go ahead and knock this thing out. Let me go ahead and go to my notes real quick. The first thing I want to say is the manga, right? There's no manga this week. Why? Because nasty, scary hiatus, word. And July the 14th, we're supposed to get, or thereabouts, we're supposed to get another chapter, unless we don't. Tagashi stretches it out. But it's but anyway, we can talk about that for a little bit before we get into the episode, because it's kind of scary that somebody has a back problem and they've had it for years and they don't seem to have it squared away.
Right.
So
hopefully he's just a little lazy.
Yeah, hopefully we just got a lazy mangaka, and and there's nothing more serious. But if he's got back problems, it'd be like Tiger Woods. A lot of athletes even they don't take care of themselves properly like they should, their backs, and they think they're going to live forever. And also, I just looked it up. Tagashi is just about I'm 48, and he's like 5 months younger than I am. So we're about the same age. So yeah, when you start getting middle-aged, you're not 20 anymore. You
You start falling apart.
Yeah, you start falling apart, especially if you don't maintain yourself. And also, I want to say this real quick, it's just wear and tear. I mean, it isn't just being young or whatever. It's like, when you're 25, you typically haven't been stretching your back for decades. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just, everything wears out, especially if you don't take care of it. So, yeah, hopefully this guy gets things squared away. Or the best scenario is what you're saying here, Michael, is that he's just one lazy mangaka. And
yeah, I'd like to see a picture of his room layout. I've seen Kishimoto's room layout before, and it was all messy and everything.
Yeah.
I just like to see if the way he has his room set up is, has his back supported, or if he's just laying on a bed doing it,
Yeah, I don't know. And what gets me is, his wife is the mangaka that does Sailor Moon, right?
Right.
I'm like, how? But anyway, I just, why can't he? All right, I'm going to say this. This is me, and I've said, but his artwork. I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? If like some people, if they said, "Oh, I'm not going to do artwork anymore," I'd feel bad. Right? I'd feel actually bad. But if Tagashi said, "I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let somebody else do the artwork," I would be, yeah, okay, I can live with it. I mean, don't. I wouldn't tell him to his face.
Right.
But it's like, I'm not going to miss your artwork, dude.
Well, after a while, if you're committed to the manga enough, you're going to get used to their drawings, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm reading Bleach, and after I got done watching the anime, I went on to the manga, and I just thought his drawings were the most god-awful thing I ever saw, and then I got used to them.
Yeah, you do. But I mean, of course, the thing is that if his quality was the same, we would probably get used to it. But I mean, it gets, all of a sudden.
This arc has been really good drawn, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been great, and also there's yes, but also I want to say there's too much. I know he's trying to rush and get through, but these chapters, and you may never hear me say this about anybody else, any other manga ever. They're too big. The chapters are too big.
I agree. He should make them 50-page chapters if he's going to do it the way he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, they're too big. Or go once a month, or like we were talking before we came on, like twice a week, or whatever this guy's got to do. Get it worked out, but don't say, well, I'm going to do 4.
Consistent.
Yeah, be consistent, dude. Don't say I'm going to pump out 4 of these a week, or a month, and we'll do 4 every month, and then it's like, 2 this month, and then, dude, just get it squared away, get your back, take care of your business. But let's go ahead and get to the episode. We covered some good stuff. We can get back into this too.
Good.
Okay, now, I got, let's see, 143, Hisoka's Killing Spree. This is a big Hisoka chapter. All right, now, make sure, okay, we've already covered this. And, and the anime. It's the end of the anime. Well, 148, episode 148 they're going to cut it off, and especially the way things are going now, I'm figuring it'll be 2016 before they start doing any anime, especially if he's going to be off and on.
Do you know why they're cutting it off? I didn't hear.
Yeah, well, they're almost caught up with the manga.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. They're almost there. I mean, they're finishing out. I mean, they're finishing it out. I mean, how far are we actually into this new arc? I mean, we've had a few chapters, but
Yeah,
um,
that's true. We aren't very far into the arc.
no, and they're about, and that'll finish. That should finish out this one. So yeah, they're
Yeah,
just
they
too
are pretty
close.
close, aren't they?
Yes, they are. So I'm figuring 2016, and I'm hoping it's the same studio because they've been amazing, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
the
they
same
could start
cast.
doing how they do it with One Piece, where they go very, very slow, and that might match Tagashi's writing style, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, but doesn't One Piece do a lot of filler?
Well, it's not so much filler. It's like a combination between canon and extra stuff, but that is supposed to make it like more content and
Yeah,
slow it down so that it doesn't overrun the manga.
yeah. Well, I don't remember if we said this here or before, but this goes along. It all fits into the same thing. You should, in my opinion, the chapters that in and of themselves are too big, and they should be, I don't know, maybe 60% of what they are each chapter. He
Yeah,
should be. He's in such a rush. It's like reading a book. There's so much text. He's in
but
such a
this is the
rush.
weird part. Why is he
Yeah.
in a rush?
I don't know. Why doesn't he take care of his back? I
Because
don't.
because you know that he gets his way in the manga place, right?
Yeah.
Since he was rushed in doing Yu Yu Hakusho, then they just said, okay, do whatever you need to do to get this done correctly. So he shouldn't be being rushed.
I don't know. I
It
think
doesn't
it's
make any
just.
sense.
I know, but we don't know his personality. And I'm just gonna.
That's right.
And one thing maybe we can go to and agree on is that anybody that's been through this series and read everything, his mind works a little different than most of us.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a different kind of guy, which makes it interesting for us to listen to. Because, like I say, time and time again, he does this. He comes at this from these different angles, and it isn't that. And I can't, you can't see it because this, like I say, it's like, holy cow, it's planned out. But my gosh, where is this? How many, how is his brain twisted like this to think, this stuff? The chapters are delicious for that. I mean, especially when we're doing stuff, and all of a sudden you turn a page and you go, you've got something with 10 arms and 21 breasts or something, and
Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, you're going, and that's just out of one chapter, but it goes back to feeds into the same thing we're saying. There's just too much on one stuff, on one deal. All right, now on the so much for anybody just thinking they're going to listen to the anime and not be spoiled or anything like that, because that unfortunately didn't happen. But all right, well, let me go ahead and look at the notes now. We're going to get into Hisoka, a big Hisoka episode, and I hate anything that looks like a clown. Hisoka creeped me out to begin with, right?
Well, with Hisoka, the reason
Yeah.
why I'm not afraid of him so much is because of his pointed face.
Really?
Whereas clowns have that ring around their neck, that collar thing, and then
Yeah.
they have a chubby face. So Ahsoka doesn't creep me out so much.
So if he had like something around his neck and a chubby face, like
You remember the movie It?
yeah, from Stephen King, I was gonna say
Yes.
exactly. So if he looked like that, you would be like, "I'm out of here."
I wouldn't be I'm out of here. I'd be all really creeped out though. That wouldn't scare me away from the manga.
Yeah, that's true, but he's still pretty effed up. Yeah, that was an amazing book, by the way. But then we go back to there was a just a real quick reference for anybody the big battle Hisoka did, in the Heaven's Arena arc. It was against Castro, and that's where we first really had it explain his abilities, right?
Yeah.
He has this ability that's this gummy, it's sticky and elastic, which is just amazing to work with. So the first thing was we got into the actual anime was the chairman election arc,
Oh yeah.
which this just to me was slow, boring. I think we could have completely done about the Saren group, but I guess it was just a tie-in. It was a way to connect in because all these hunters are looking for Illumi because his brother sold him out,
Yeah.
right? And the the whole I'm really skipping around here, but the whole thing. Remember how Ahsoka killed? He was on this killing spree, right? Illumi's the one they're hunting for, and who does most of the killing? Ahsoka, right?
Right.
It's hilarious, and even there, Morel's on the phone talking to this guy like, "Hey, I'm not gonna quit trying to make me your new leader, you bunch of CERN losers." And while this guy's dying, he's like, "Look, you guys, you're pushing things too far. You don't know." And sure enough, they get killed. But Ahsoka's killing spree, just killing people everywhere, is just. And then the map. Remember the whole thing? He sits there and he watches guys out, and he gets a map. This was really interesting. And then he's like, "Okay, here's this. I'm transferring this map to you, right?" He goes, but let me alter it a little bit. Oh my God, what an untrustworthy SOB. And
he's out for his own cause,
Always to have fun. I've noticed that there's a whole bunch of these characters, and especially a lot of the really good ones. It's like even Netero. It's just about having fun.
Yeah.
That's their prime thing.
Did you like?
People love them. Huh?
Did you like Hisoka's creepy grin behind the tree?
Oh, that was amazing. We're gonna get to that. But the thing is that map. He gives it to him. He changes. He does all this, and then Illumi's like, "Oh well, I knew where killed is."
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, he's got a spotter." So he killed these guys for no freaking reason. This guy's just been slaughtering people, and they're like, "Oh, didn't really need the map, guys." Sorry about that. And then what do you think?
I remember reading this in the manga and going, "What just happened here?" Because all you see is dead bodies.
Yeah. Well, and that gets to why a lot of people don't read the manga. They will wait to watch. This is, like I say, Hunter x Hunter is one. I'm just shocked at how many people will not read the manga. They just won't. They love the anime, but they're like. And a lot of people say it's too confusing, right?
Well, I understand where they're coming from because almost every chapter it's like reading a college textbook.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, it isn't like.
And when you're 3 pages in, you're already tired of reading.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, this is on one extreme. I mean, this is like reading a book. Like I said, I go out and I go, okay, I need an hour block of time to just go out a chapter.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because I do write reviews on it. So I need an hour. I have to have that much time to even think about going to.
Yeah, at least to decipher it,
Yeah, because I mean, I have to really, look at this in different sections and go, what am I looking? What the hell? Just yeah. Whereas the other extreme of it is fairy tale. Because I need 5 minutes, to go. It could be fun. It could be a fun 5 minutes and read a chapter in fairy tale.
Yeah.
But you don't really need more than 5 minutes.
No, it's a lot of fluff.
Yeah, you could go right through it. The picture artworks is genius, and as I've said before, and a lot of people, if Hero was doing the artwork on this, oh my God.
Well, you see, that's where I disagree. Since I'm used to Tagashi's writing style and drawing style, I like it more than fairy tales.
Well, there would be a problem there's a few problems with Hero doing it for Hunter x Hunter. Going back to the whole. Well, just for everybody, of course, you spoiled already for the chapters. When you get on the page, it's in the chapters way ahead of this anime, and we see the thing with the breast and the arms and the legs and the tongue and the whole mouth that looks like a yeah. And when you see that, I mean, the way he does it is gothic. If Hero did it, if Hero did it, he'd probably do it in something that would be like extremely arousing. Really destroyed.
Yeah.
Instead of being this creepy thing, you're like, so
instead of being afraid of it, you'd want to touch it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be a problem. So yeah. So now, what did you think about? So what do you think about? Even when we had, and this has already been in the anime, we saw the thing that everybody connected to Aluka, Saboni and Amon, or however it said it, those are always two characters seen together. Even in that bubble, right?
Yeah.
They're in the same bubble. That's how close they are. And I was like, what is what's going on? And so it's grandmother and granddaughter, right? Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But it's because Sabone's ability to change into a vehicle, but she needs someone else to power it.
Yeah, because she can't power it herself.
Yeah, and that's something else we'll also see in the chapters later. You'll see
And I
another
thought that
cool.
was really strange.
I love it. I think it's
Well,
awesome.
it's awesome, but it's strange that she needs somebody else to power it.
Well, think of it this way. Think of it this way. I'm sure she could create a vehicle that she could power on her own, but you have energy limits, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So instead of being super fast, it would be, just like a regular vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And then she would get exhausted. Or she could make this extremely powerful thing and go all out, and then have someone go all out powering it. And then you make something way more powerful and faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I love where Togashi went with this. I love it. So, and that also goes to another thing with his gaming and looking at stuff and how there's conditions and there's limits, right? So
Yeah.
how do you expand your limits? How do you go all out? That's one way to do it. Is you cheat in a way. You get somebody else to come in and be the power source.
Yeah. Remember in the anime when that guy with the fingers that turn into guns?
Mm-hmm.
I,
Yes.
when I when I
You mean the
when I
manga,
first
right?
Yeah, in the manga, when I first read that, I thought, well, I've never seen that before. It's just you wonder what he's going to come up with next.
Yeah, and of course this is where we saw it before. But that's a problem with Togashi a lot of times is we see stuff and we go, what's going on here? So even when we see it again, a lot of times we don't realize we're seeing it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, he should slow down. I mean, he should slow down the manga, slow it down, okay, and and just remind us a little bit more. But he kind of flies through stuff. He's a genius. He's got it planned out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
there.
one of my other theories is that he's not actually taking time off right now. I bet he's drawing right now. You know, and basically that back pain thing was just time to space him out so that he can write a whole bunch of stuff at once and then
Hmm.
take some more time.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. He
Yeah.
could be. I wish I knew. I'm so curious. You know,
Yeah.
that'd almost be like a pull thing. Why is he really doing? The only problem you could never find out. That the fly to Japan, you know, get a Japanese private investigator to find
Yeah.
out what is Takashi really up to.
Install a
go,
camera in his house.
yeah, and then we can find out we're all wrong. He's just like a Jiraiya. He's just getting drunk and chasing women all the time. So who knows?
Maybe.
But back to the thing. What do you think of the vehicles? They look weird, but I like. I have to say the thing of using her hair as the handlebars, on on the jet aircraft thing, I thought was a little, you know,
That's a little suggestive theme right there.
it's kind of crazy. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. But oh yeah, gosh, it's very gothic though. Like I said, really crazy looking. Okay, and then now Killua does a great job, to get Aluka to Gon, right? I mean, think about all the strategy, where Gon is like, he's got this unbelievable perseverance, and when he sets a goal, he's going to achieve it somehow.
Yeah.
Where Killua is just like all the angles, like a bull shark. He's looking at all his angles, all their angles, he's figuring everything out.
Yep.
So he was a genius on working things out, getting all these different blimps, doing all this stuff. And the two most important people in Killua is Gon and Aluka, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all pieced there together. And the driver, I like the way his name, Hishita, how you pronounce it? I mean, my pronunciations are bad enough. And but the driver, what was really cool was the way they did it in the anime. And I didn't go back to the manga to see if it was done there. But they would show the side of his face, and they showed underneath, and they did everything to not show his forehead, right?
Yeah.
So he's talking, and then when they did it, and he turns and he goes, "Oh, Master Illumi can't do anything without his." And it was. I thought I sit there and I said, that was awesome. But then again, the anime's been brilliant all the way through.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I totally forgot that he was going to be the driver, and I was like, no. They got me, even though I read it before.
Yeah, and so he drives him, and we were talking about this before we started the hangout. That's how he got him, right? So he has the driver taking him to Illumi. Okay.
Yeah.
And so Killua's mom, that's what the Google Glass monocle on Saboni is a constant feed Google Glass camera. And Illumi and the mother are really close, so he's getting this feed, the same feed, so he knows where she's going. So he literally has, the call to Canary to get him picked up and get everything done. And so he's got the whole thing. So he literally has him driven right to him, along with his,
Yeah. Do you remember when Illumi threatened the what's her name, the older lady?
Saboni?
Saboni. Do you remember when Illumi threatened her and said, "You're not going to take that monocle off ever, right?"
Right.
I didn't know whether that was called for or not.
Remember the whole thing. Illumi remember his attitude. His attitude was toward the butlers, which she is, even though she's like, I guess, the top one. Is when they were doing experiments with Luca, he goes in, he goes, "Hey mom, can I use one of the butlers for an experiment with the Luca?" And she's like, "Yeah, go ahead." Remember that? The one that died that had her, yeah. So that's Illumi has been brought up and taught that the butlers are just they're there to be used.
Right, but I didn't think that the threat was necessary, because I think that Sabone is going to keep the monocle on no matter what, but maybe Illumi thinks that he's better than Sabone and wants to reinforce that Sabone is a tool and nothing more.
Yeah, but also remember the way Sabone's been acting toward Killua, apologizing to him for getting in his way and doing. And even Saboni, if you remember, what was it? Was it the last episode or the one before? She doesn't like the mother, and she doesn't like the kids that are close to the mother.
Right. So it's kind of a matter of trust, isn't it?
It is, but remember what Togashi does is he loves, every time that you get any group of people, he goes into factions.
Yeah.
Right? And like I say, even the chart that showed how people were close to Aluka, right?
Yeah.
So you saw, from there also, you saw the chart on who was, like the mother has her wing, right? Like Illumi and all that, the kids that are closer to her.
Yep.
Right? And so there's all, within the family there's factions, within the butlers there's factions. Even though they may do what they're told, they kind of lean one way or lean away from people they don't want to help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he knows that. He knows Saboni doesn't like it. And that he's just cracking the whip on her. That's just what I looked at.
Okay.
So, but he better hope that worm never turns, because if she ever gets if things ever break down in the family, and the only two left is Saboni and Illumi, I think he's in trouble.
Yeah.
So, although we would need to see a lot more abilities with Saboni, but supposedly she's got a lot more. Goto was very respectful to her. I'm sure she's more than just a transport device.
Right.
Saboni. So I think we explained the monocle and how he's Saboni's a camera, and that's how Illumi was getting the feed from his mother. And I think we already covered that.
Yep.
And and then we went right into this was interesting. A lot of things happen here, and I had to start. I said, I'm not going to get too much more into the breakdown of it, but just a little bit was Illumi allowed. Okay, why did Sabone appear? Why did Saboni appear? Why didn't she just hang back?
I think she wanted to intervene, didn't she?
Yes. And remember what Killua said. He says, I need to summon something. His back's against the wall. He's surrounded and Illumi's there. And he's like, I got to summon something.
Yeah.
And then, boom, Zaboni appears. And that sets the thing back in to where Luca starts making requests again.
Yep.
Because so see, she's helping, and then she's very apologetic and everything. So she's intentionally, she's not breaking the rules, but within the rules of the family, she's helping Killua as much as she can.
Yeah. I wish they would have had it zoomed in on her hand when she was ripping the fingernails off. That would have been pretty cool to see.
The sound effects is like, oh, sure, not a problem. And how about the other fingernail? Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. So, oh yeah, it was pretty brutal. And then I think it was more brutal not seeing it, imagining it, hearing it. It was way more effective. But but Illumi's like, okay, I'm going to let this happen because of the rule. The same person cannot ask consecutive requests, right?
Yep.
So he's like, okay, if this goes through and he asks for a request, then he can't be the next person. So he's like, okay, I'll back off on this. And then he gives the whole, thing like, well, okay, now understanding this, he's like, okay, but in order to save your friend, he says, you could kill me or whatever, but in order to save your friend, you have to promise that you will be the one that asks the request and pays the price, right?
Yeah.
So the way this works, that means someone else would have to ask, and he would have to be like. So this would postpone all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was his thinking. This is going to postpone it and give me time to actually get control of the situation. But the idea that Illumi was willing to die to save the family, right?
Yeah.
And to be happy about it because Killua would feel remorse for killing him.
Yeah, he's a sicko.
He's crazy. Remember when Hisoka, he's saying, "Oh yeah, Illumi's like, yeah, my brother loves me." Hisoka's like, "My God, I got problems, dude.
Yeah.
This dude hates you. You're out of your mind." So yeah, I'm wondering if he doesn't have a chip in his head or something. Dude is, and also the ability to sacrifice him. He doesn't seem like that kind. I wonder, like I said, if he's got something in his head. So there's definitely, or he's just twisted. It could be true too.
Yeah,
And
all
then,
these characters seem to be just a little bit twisted, don't they?
Oh, they are, and it makes it so entertaining.
Yeah.
Let's see, and then Hisoka. Oh, yeah. Of course, Hisoka. We're getting to the part you're talking about, the crazy smile.
Yeah.
So Hisoka's watching all this, right? And he's like, what would be more fun? Because this is his personality, right?
Yeah.
He says, number one, kill a Luca, earning Killua's wrath. Okay, would that be more fun? Or two, spare Luca and save Gon, making Illumi my enemy. And he's like, which would be more fun? Okay. And then we get to Illumi's deal. My death, so to save Gon, and then that changes everything. And then Hisoka's like, if Gon is healed, right, and Illumi's dead, I neither gain nor lose anything. Right? Nothing.
Yeah.
And he says, in that case, I will kill Luca, right?
Yeah.
And as a side note, that also kills Gon, right? Dooms him.
Yep.
Okay? And he says, and earns Killua's wrath. No, it would. The two most important people in his life are one is dead and one is doomed to die. He would completely flip. It would be something more than wrath, right?
Yep.
So he's going to try to kill Hisoka, right? And then he's like, and then I would take out Killua, kill him, because Killua's not going to let Hisoka walk away, and then earn Illumi's wrath. And of course, Illumi, he just killed somebody in the family. Now Illumi's got to fight him, right?
Right.
So he kills Illumi, and he's like, that is the best choice. what an evil, and I had forgotten this part of it. Got this deep because I was like, I thought he's going to try to do his best to make sure Gon gets saved for the future so we can find him or whatever, right?
Right.
So now we know the truth. Whatever's the most fun is what Hisoka is going to do.
I always like reading his thought bubbles because you never know what he's going to do and it always seems like maybe he's gonna decide to kill this person today, or maybe he's gonna decide to kill him a week from today or something. He always changes his mind, and it's always in a cruel way.
Well, now you know what's the most messed up about the whole thing with Hisoka is whatever usually whatever he finds the most enjoyable and entertaining
Yeah.
thing to do himself, we also find entertaining. So how
Yeah.
messed up are we? If we're sitting there going, well, he's a dirtbag, but that's pretty damn entertaining. I have to say that was the most entertaining thing he chose. So,
Well, we're not necessarily messed up because they're fictional characters, right?
well, this is true, but you know what I'm saying. We're still finding it entertaining.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. We're not on Hisoka's level. We just find he's one of those characters. Every manga's got at least one character, and it's usually a character that's kind of like he is. It's kind of they alternate between doing good or bad things.
Right.
And you never know which side they're going to go on. They're just so entertaining, and usually when Hisoka shows up, something is interesting is going to happen. Right.
Right.
When you see him, you're like, okay, it's on. Something crazy is gonna happen, and he usually doesn't let us down.
It usually seems like he's either going to kill somebody or he's going to pull off some crazy dance moves that nobody's expecting.
Or outthinking him. Have you ever? You remember? Maybe go back to this. The battle he did in with Castro in the Heavens arena. Have you ever gone back and actually seen the explanation of how that fight went down? Afterward, really just sit back and let it soak in.
The one where he cut off his arm?
Yes.
No.
Because it's.
I never really understood that fight. I thought
Yeah.
Hisoka had it won the whole way, and then he cut his arm off. It seemed to me like he cut his arm off to scare the guy.
If you this fight more than any of the battles was I didn't understand 60% of what was going on until the explanation, or maybe even more. Maybe I understood less because it was actually less than that. I probably understood 40% of what was going on during the battle. The explanation really is something to sit down and just read, because Hisoka was beaten. And the difference, remember what saved Hisoka's life was that the other guy mentally cracked.
Right.
And what we've learned is Hisoka mentally will not crack. Even when he's like, I'm probably going to die. He isn't. He's just in it so much for the fun.
Right. I really want to know a backstory on Hisoka.
Oh, can you imagine whenever that reveal comes out?
It'd be
It's got
so
to be.
good.
Oh, dude, it's got to be twisted as hell. Are you kidding? We already know he was a spider. I mean, we already.
It'd be
know.
like a Silence of the Lambs type thing.
Yes. Oh yeah, and I'm not even sure he's 100% human. To be honest, I'm not. I'm not at all. And I wouldn't even doubt. Oh yeah, that guy's gonna be crazy.
Maybe he's from the Dark Continent too.
I wouldn't doubt it. He's got a. Who's Gon's mom? Is she human?
I thought she died.
She's dead.
Yep.
We don't know anything about her.
Nope.
I wouldn't even doubt that somehow that Hisoka and Gon are like from the same planet or something. Have
You
some
think so?
crazy connection. I wouldn't doubt it. It's possible. I'm saying it's possible. I don't know. But I mean, a twist like that, Tagashi could do something. You know what I
Well,
mean?
see, Gon's twisted in a way where it's scary, whereas Hisoka's twisted in a way whereas it's fun to watch, but you want to see if he actually goes through with it. Gon, once he sets his mind to it, he's going to do it no matter the cost.
Yeah, but we also know that Gon seems to be more than human in his abilities. Both him and his father. The freaks seem to be more than just human, right?
Yeah.
And so does Killua's family. There seems to be some element to these people that's more than your average human. There's something else there.
Yeah.
And we already know. Well, anyway, I want to get into too much dark content. that's way on there. But it's good to bring up. And let's see. I've only got a few more points here. So, one of the things that happens. Now we're to the point. Okay, the requests have been asked. Illumi's proposition, everything goes in there. And then this is what's great. I love what Tagashi did here. Okay, because remember what's all loaded in the chamber, all the guns that are loaded in this situation. Hisoka is getting ready to go on another rampage, right?
Yeah.
Okay? And Illumi is there. He's willing to sacrifice his life. I mean, this is high-stakes stuff. And all this pressure is on Killua. And what does he do? Does he give in and go and kill the brother that he hates, setting off the chain of events where Hisoka comes in there? Does he, what does he do? He does the good thing. He isn't greedy. And he heals the hand of Saboni, right?
Yeah.
And he says, you know what? Aluka's alter ego, whatever it is, isn't evil. Even though it can destroy at range, and it has to be close to heal. It's not evil. It's greedy people that are the problem with Aluka. And he says Aluka's requests have never been harsh whenever she's been asked to heal something. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what he did. Right? And then he defused. Because, I mean, think about how much destruction's getting ready to happen here. He diffused the entire situation by taking the good route. Unbeknownst to him, right? He didn't know Ahsoka and all this good stuff was going to happen.
Yeah.
And Illumi kept saying all through this thing, I know there's rules. You've done things. There's rules that you aren't telling your family. I'm going to find out what they are. If you tell me, then I'll... So he keeps going on with this, right? And Killua is like, if they knew the rule, they would enslave me, and they would slave me along with the rule.
Right.
So evidently, his connection is above the rules.
Yeah.
Because he's getting ready to break it. Because spoilers again, the people have been spoiled a long time ago. But he's going to ask, he makes the next one. So it's just the rules don't apply to him. We don't know why. We just know they don't.
Right.
So, and the entity likes him. There's some bonding, not just with Aluka, but the other entity. The alter ego likes him also.
Yeah. Didn't that demon child looking thing look creepy this time? The black eye sockets.
Whenever they did the thing a few episodes back when he went into the vault and he threatened to kill the mother, and when it looked into, turned around and looked into the camera, to me that was my favorite thing so far in the anime of her. And it's like, okay, and it's like, yeah, kill her. If we're not out here in 30 minutes, just kill the mother. And looks at the camera and goes, okay, the dark, the whole white flesh, the completely pasty white skin, and the ultra black. Oh, I was like, this slow turn toward the camera.
Yep.
Wonderful stuff. Yeah, the anime studios just done wonders with this thing. Well, that's the end of my notes on there. Was there anything we need to go back through in the episode, or?
I don't think so. Yeah. Unless Anthony's got something.
Is Anthony here? Oh, Anthony, I didn't see you. I've been looking at my notes. How long you been here?
Just for not too long. I didn't want to butt in on your guys' dynamic there. You seemed like you had a good thing going on, so.
Oh, it's okay. You know what? I've been kind of, normally I would do this off thing, but, last week, you weren't here, and then this week you're late. What's going on, dude?
Oh, well, last week, last week it must have been just a miscommunication. I thought it was going to be at 11, and that's why I didn't show up at 10 o'clock. I was still at work. So I was planning for 11, so I must have misunderstood it. And then tonight I just got home and I forgot about it. I went on YouTube and I seen you guys were live. I'm like, oh, crap. So
okay. Well, I love your honesty. Right. I love your honesty.
It is what it is. So.
Yeah. Well, what happened last week is I changed it. I extended it again and came back on at 11 last week. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I changed it 5 times last week.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. So, but anyway, so you're here. I'm glad you're here. Was there? We covered the whole thing. We went through. Was there anything that you want to go ahead and talk about?
Nothing too specific. I guess we just gotta savor every one of these episodes before the anime ends. It's getting real close.
Yep, 148. That's it.
It's so sad, It's like, I mean, in terms of anime, I watch a lot of things weekly, but this is like the highlight of my week. Hunter x Hunter is what I look forward to the most, and I don't know. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with myself on Tuesday nights anymore. Always come home from work and boot it up and get my Hunter x Hunter going on, and I can't really depend on the manga too frequently because it's hiatuses every other week now. So I don't know. It's just it's sad.
It's the 1-2 punch. So this is going to go away. 148 is the end, and then after that, we have to rely on the achy breaky back of Tagashi or whatever, whatever real things going on. We all like to. It's fun to speculate. We talked there earlier. Actually, I did, and I was like, to know the truth, we'd have to hire a Japanese special investigator or something, a private eye to sneak in and find out what's the guy really doing? What is this? Is he got a bad back? Is he lying? Is he Is he Jiraiya? Is he just drinking and winching? What is he gaming? I don't know what. I have no idea.
I don't know. I know him and his wife have been quite busy. She does Sailor Moon, and they got the new Sailor Moon going on right now. So he's a busy dude. So, but I don't see why a bad back should hinder him drawing. But hey, I'm not a mangaka, so I can't really.
Well, here's the problem with that. We already discussed this. I'm going to go too much longer with this, but we already. He's had this problem for how long, and he doesn't have it squared away, or is he just lying? Michael Gethman was saying it. Maybe he's just a lazy mangaka. Maybe he's just hanging out. I don't know, eating ramen or playing games, and just like, what? I'm just 2 weeks. I'm going to goof off. I don't know. I hope so.
Oh well, as long as he doesn't one day say, "Oh, I'm quitting," as long as he doesn't do that, I'll be able to stay sane.
Yeah.
As long as I have more Hunter, to look forward to in the future, I can keep on living.
Right. That sounds pretty good.
But yeah, it was a very good episode though.
All right. Well, anyway, if there's anything you want to say before we can chat a little bit after the hangout, but is there anything you want to say about the episode before we close it out?
I did have one quick question. It was kind of vague to me. Why did Hisoka just all of a sudden cancel his plans and go away during that whole little thing between Illumi and Killua? He just left. All of a sudden.
Because the criteria. Remember, this was step by step. The criteria for his last decision was gone. It was disarmed by what Killua did.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Because I know he went through 5 different scenarios in his head, and it kind of got lost in me.
Well, remember the last scenario, right? Was like I said, we'll cover this real quick before we close it out. The last scenario was that Illumi gave him this thing. He says, "Look, you can kill me. You can do your wish right now. I'll die for the family, but you have to promise, that you will be the one asking the request for Gon." Okay. And remember, the technicality of this is 2 people. The same person can't ask consecutive requests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if he goes ahead and heals Sabani's hand, which he said to do, okay, or actually we haven't got to that point. We're just on the cusp of it. So if he uses this to kill him or to do whatever, then someone else has to make a request, right? It can't be him. So the Illumi's thinking, I'm surprised he's willing to die for the family, and he's delusional in thinking that Killua will feel remorse for killing him, because he hates him, right? Killua hates him, okay, for what he's did to him and everything else. So he has all this delusional stuff, but anyway, it's like in history, when there's World War I, they go, okay, it's because of this one and these chain of events that happened to create the war. So you got that set up, which changed the dynamics so that Hisoka's final thing that he has worked out is what would be more fun, right? And finally he goes, okay, if Illuma dies and Gon gets healed, right? Mm-hmm. Then here's the scenario. He goes, I neither gain nor lose anything. I get no fun out of this. Because the first thing he asked about the situation is what would be more fun, right?
Yeah.
So he's completely, he's like, okay, I get nothing out of this. So the situation where it is that there's if Illumi dies and Gon gets healed, okay, what's the most fun I can get? He's like, I will kill Aluka, right? And that will also, by default, kill Gon. They'll doom him to die. And the two most important people to Killua is Aluka and Gon, right?
Yep.
So Killua is going to try to kill Ahsoka, and then so he, in self-defense, he's going to kill Killua. And if Illumi's still alive in this whole situation, then Illumi, because he just killed a member of the family, he's going to have to kill Illumi, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And he goes, that is the best choice. And he does that crazy smile, right?
Yeah.
So that's the chain of events that's getting ready to happen. But because Killua chooses the path that's not greedy, and he says, look, Aluka's not evil. It's people that are greedy that ask these big requests, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then it disarms the entire chain of events because he healed Saboni's hand.
Yeah.
So it buzz-killed Hisoka. And it's like, and so he goes back to where he's getting nothing out of this.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
out of it.
Jeez,
That's my explanation.
That's convoluted as hell.
It is. It is. Michael Getson, is there anything you want to throw in there, or you feel,
No, but I did. Probably my favorite part of the anime was Hisoka's creepy smile.
That was brilliant. That
Yeah.
would be the best choice.
I gotta watch it again.
It was awesome. This dude is so good. But all right, let's go ahead and close it out. We can chat a little bit afterward. Well, anyway, yeah. One last time, Anthony. Is there anything else that you want to? Anything else?
Not that I can think of. You closed it out pretty well. I appreciate you asking me though.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys getting on here, and just let everybody know the 14th is when we're supposed to get the next chapter. 148 is going to be the last of the anime. Until next time, take care.